Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about the Flash movie because the Flash movie decided that it needed to do some cameos, and people were upset at some of the cameos. But one particular that a lot of people felt disrespected was and a lot of people found it very distasteful that they would put George Reeves in the new Flash movie. Because if you guys don't know, George Reeves committed suicide at the age of 45. 1959 is when he had died. And he was best known for his role as Superman from believe The Adventures of Superman, if I'm not mistaken. And what happened is they believe the suicide was because of his failed career, like inability to get work, because that's what people typecast him as, and he's the one that kind of started the Superman curse. Now, the Superman curse refers to a series of supposedly related misfortune that have plagued people involving the adaptation of Superman in various media. The curse is really started because of George Reeves, who started in The Adventures of Superman, and then Christopher Reeves, who did 4 theatrical movies, which after that he was paralyzed after a 1995 horseback riding incident. And it's just more like kind of things. It's like you got Brandon Routh, who only was able to do Superman Returns. You have Tom Welling, who felt like he was also just typecasted as just Superman. You have Henry Cavill, who, even though he did one Man of Steel movie, he just showed up in frequently team up movies and wasn't able to become an A-lister that a lot of us want him to be, but Hollywood won't let him. And we haven't got a Man of Steel 2 from him as well. So it's not just, people who portray Superman, but it's just like the work around the Superman curse anyway. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people found it very distasteful for DC to be like, oh yeah, it would be a good idea, let's put George Reeves Superman in here as like one of the multiverses that the Flash can potentially visit. And it's just like, no, especially with that terrible CGI. And honestly, I know some people were like, what's my thought on bringing back people from the dead? Honestly, I don't really think you should do it, but if you're going to do it, make sure you get permission from your family. And since George Reeves doesn't have any living family, I wouldn't do that. But at the same time, I understand his estate. If he has an estate, they might have gave DC permission. But when you find out the tragic lives of some of these actors, it's weird to bring them back alive when it's just like, let's try to be respectful and let's not do this. But I understand how some people are feeling, but then they want to try to blame like, oh, the only people who are mad about it is the Snyder Bros. No, people find it just distasteful. You can not be a fan of Snyder and watch this movie and be like, it was distasteful. People found the cameo distasteful because a lot of people know what happened to George Reeves, and it's kind of sad. And then you bring them back with terrible CGI. It's kind of like, really? And it's like, it's not even just good CGI, it's like slopped together CGI. So yeah, people are going to have their opinions about it, and I don't blame people for getting upset about it. But to sit there and try to be like, oh, it's the Snyder fans who are complaining about it, or is people who don't want the Flash to succeed complaining about it. Well, the movie is a hot trash garbage in the first place, but you can't get mad that people feel like, hey, this is disrespectful to George Reeves' memory, especially after you find out his life and how the Superman role impacted him. Like, do you really think it's a good idea to be like, hey, let's bring George Reeves in there when he didn't even like Superman to begin with? He was reluctant to take the role in the first place. He was begged and pleaded to be Superman, finally became Superman, and then after that became typecast to the point where he couldn't do any other roles because of how people saw him only as Superman. So no, I don't think it was a good idea to be like, hey, let's put George Reeves Superman in the Flash movie, especially knowing the history behind that person. But it all depends on who it is. But if people feel uncomfortable with them, let them feel uncomfortable with it. Like, I don't want you to use CGI to bring back dead characters, honestly, because it starts getting to the point where we're crossing a line between life and death. You get what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion on the whole situation. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Did you guys watch The Flash? Were you shocked about some of the cameos you saw? Do any of you guys know the George Reeves story? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.